Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. Right, in today's video we're going to be talking about the science champions that I find most fun. We're going to be going through each separate class in different video. We'll be showing bits of gameplay from each champion that I will kind of highlight specifically, but keep in mind these are the champions that I personally enjoy the most. Therefore, you're more than welcome to add whatever champions you enjoy. Absolutely fine with that, but you are not welcome to tell me that I'm wrong for enjoying some champion. This is my opinion, and we're all different, and we all like different things, and this is strictly just that. These are the champions that put the biggest smile on my face, or that I find somehow oddly satisfying. And again, this is not the same as the favorite champions necessarily, or the champions that that I rate the highest or use the most even, because then often how good the champion is also seeks in, which is not really a factor in these picks. This is strictly about that genuine childish smile that you get from playing a video game, and the interactions that are kind of like the cheesiest and stuff like that. I know a lot of people will absolutely love Mr. Negative, and I enjoy using him too, similar to Miles Morales. Cheesing with Miles is quite fun, and Spider-Gwen and Spider-Ham can be quite enjoyable. But we're going to start off today's list with a champion that's arguably the most enjoyable, at the very least for me, but also at the same time, pretty much the most frustrating one. Because it's always kind of dependent on opponent to a degree, how easy the fight will go and how well you can build up your rage stacks, because they really do not last a long time. And if opponent isn't cooperating with you, and it doesn't even have to be that opponent has to throw special attack immediately, it's enough if opponent just puts up a block for a split second, and that's enough for you to lose all your charges. I really would love to see a tiny bit of a tune-up to this guy to make him kind of more consistent and more stable to use. Now, all that being said, he's still managing to put in a ton of work in contest, but that rage ability is kind of hitting the nail on the head, because, Hulk can rage, and so can you using Hulk. And then there is the added dose of excitement, because Hulk is a champion you typically use to kind of nuke down opponents, and you often kind of go for all or nothing, push opponent in level 3, and, just try to do like all of the damage in one big go. Now, obviously, you can play more conservative, but that's not exactly what Immortal Hulk's kind of known for. And that being said, the fact that Special 1 has 60% stun chance is also quite finicky. Stun will trigger more often than not, but there will be plenty of times it doesn't trigger, and that can kind of mess you up as well. So every time you do throw that level 1 and the stun does appear, there's just a little bit of happiness that comes out of that, because you really want it to come. Right, so I do have a bit of gameplay to show. One second, I just need to reopen my app, apparently. So let's get here, and it's just going to be like the common Winter Soldier fight, but it should showcase quite well exactly what I like about using Immortal Hulk. So you're going to see that, it's always dependent on the opponent. Like in this case, Winter Soldier is working quite well with me, but there will be plenty of times where it doesn't quite happen. So you can see that he immediately goes for special attack, and everything's working fantastic. I have 8 charges, he comes in, gets parried immediately, drops his level 2, he's behaving perfectly, but there will be plenty of times where that does not happen. But how can you not like this carnage that you are going for? You can see that you're dealing a ton of extra damage on your rage attacks. Now you're going for level 1 at this point. Stun triggers, which is awesome, and so did my immortality. And this rank 3 Immortal Hulk will how nuked down the Winter Soldier perfectly, even with the class disadvantage. But it's because the RNG kind of worked out, right? And there was, like, I guess a bit spoiler for you, but the second champion that I want to point out is Joe Fixit. I genuinely have been absolutely loving Joe Fixit post buff, and there are quite a few reasons for it. And it again comes kind of like as a double-edged sensations, feelings, I don't know. Because with Joe Fixit, he's also quite RNG dependent. Because you never want to see diamonds when you use Joe Fixit. Because the diamonds just give you that block penetration and armor penetration, and that's offensively by far the most useless ability. So whenever you use a special attack, if Joe Fixit's awakened, you get like 4 symbols of any given stack. All of them will be the same. And whenever diamonds appear, you know, I'm quite mad on the inside. And it happens a lot. Like statistically, it happens just under 1 in 4 times. It feels more. It really does feel like it happens more. Additional thing that's super enjoyable about Joe Fixit is stacking up bleeds. Now, in this video gameplay example, I will not necessarily be able to showcase the bleed stack as well as I normally would because I did not have deep wounds active. But with good RNG, you can get up to like 40 plus bleeds, and that is very, very satisfying. And with good RNG, you can also pretty much stun lock the opponents. That's also kind of interesting thing with that level too. But Joe Fixit is definitely a champion that whose buff I really enjoy, appreciate. I did the Act 4 2-star completion. He was one of the MVPs there. I brought him in incursions. He was very fun in incursions. I have taken my 6-star to rank 3. And I actually used him offensively as well in off-season for a few wars. And I always have a very, very fun time, interesting time. And it's kind of quick changing emotions. You're super happy when you get the signs that you want. And, you know, whenever you see diamonds, you kind of get grumpy. And you just kind of try to play faster and faster and faster because you want more and more bleeds on your opponent. So let's get in the second fight with Joe Fixit. Now, again, this isn't going to be necessarily the best example of how to use Joe Fixit or anything like that. I like to open a fight with parry medium heavy, which kind of immediately gives you 3 signs. It's much, much better than just going for a full combo finishing with medium, because then you'd have just the 2 signs, and that one sign that gives you increased power gain kind of helps you to get to your level 2s quicker. So initially I like to do parry medium heavy just to kind of get more of that power quicker. And then for the rest of the fight, you know, you kind of need to see what's happening and adjust and adapt. Now we're going, you know, it's decent amount of damage. Joe Fixit is actually quite good champion. I know there are still people who do not believe me, but Joe Fixit is quite good champion. So I'm going to be trying to go there for another level 2, and I think then I'm going to be trying to squeeze in special 1 spam, but it's not going to necessarily work out for me perfectly. I'm not, well, getting the, I forgot the name of this sign, Spades. Spades quite good, but you know, what you really want, ideally, if you want spam debuffs, is getting all the clubs that I just got when Captain Marvel is only at 33%, because getting clubs means you have immensely increased power gain, and with that you can just spam more special attacks, you can have more of your debuffs on the opponent, and that is what helps you get more bleeds on the opponent. Now, in this case, I only got 18, but, you know, there have been plenty of times when I have been up to like 40. Now we're at 25 bleeds, and again, this is without deep wounds. This is without deep wounds. So Joe Fixit, I genuinely do love using this guy. It's very fun, very enjoyable, a bit random, but also that RNG aspect, you know, it's not like it's not completely crazy RNG in a sense that, you know, I don't really remember a fight, for instance, when I got extremely unlucky and, you know, only diamonds were rolling in, for instance. And even if you do not get the signs that you necessarily want, yes, the fight is going to be slightly more annoying, but you can still adjust for it and you can still work around it. So it's not like he's completely RNG reliant, and typically it kind of evens out throughout the fight anyhow. Right, so past Joe Fixit, we also have She-Hulk. And She-Hulk's one of the OG champions, and I'm not even going to lie, before they changed her heavy attack, I did find it even funnier. But even after they have changed her heavy attack, there is something, again, strangely enjoyable about trying to get as many Furies as possible. And once you get going, you do feel in a very, very good control of the fight. And it's always a bit of a sense of urgency as well to push opponent past the bar of power, to make sure they use that special attack, to make sure that you can punish it. And she's obviously a great champion. And there's this kind of game that I always like to play, because I believe she has about 11% chance on each hit to gain a Fury. And I always can, 11% chance on each hit. So it means statistically, in about every 9 hits, you should be gaining 1 Fury. And I kind of like to count along whether I'm above or under the average, because sometimes you can go like 30 hits without getting a single Fury and you can get very frustrated. Obviously, you can still spam your level 1s and get Furies that way as well. But in general, that's one of the things that I like to keep track on my Fury count compared to my combo meter, and just kind of get that feeling whether RNG is with me or against me in a fight. And then on top of that, obviously, as I mentioned before, I find it quite enjoyable to try and have a very quick and fast fight, not to let the Furies expire. And in general, I think many of the champions that have AI manipulation are quite strangely enjoyable, because you kind of feel in a very good control of the fight, I suppose. And then we can carry on to the last fight. And I will make a mistake here against Juggernaut. This isn't meant to be like a perfect showcase by any means. I think at some point I'm going to lose my combo and I'm going to get clapped. But here you can see that, 10 hits, we have the 1 Fury, 12 hits, we got the second Fury. So we were kind of above the RNG expectations. And it's obviously also easier to stack your Furies against Juggernaut, because he is extra large champion. But moments like this, when your Furies are about to expire, and then the opponent throws the special attack at the very last minute, it's super fun. Obviously, there I made a mistake, because initially I didn't realize that my slow had expired. That's a mistake on me, nobody else. But yeah, I genuinely do find it very satisfying to use She-Hulk whenever I do have the opportunity to do so. And as I said, just because I didn't mention or showcase some champions in this video, it doesn't mean that, they're not fun or anything like that. As I said, we all have different things that we enjoy. And as I'm recording this video, I'm starting to realize that I'm a bit of a masochist or glutton for punishment, in a sense that I like champions where there is some sort of danger or risk involved in things going wrong. It's kind of similar how I do not necessarily find it super fun to stun lock somebody with Ronan, because it's a guaranteed 100% chance, but I do find it extremely fun to try and stun lock somebody with Hulk or Thor, because there's always that chance of failure. And again, it has nothing to do with the quality of the champion or how good or bad the champion is. It has to do with how excited I am to use that champion, and what kind of smile they can put on my face. So these were the science champions that I personally enjoy using the most in the game. As I said, Mr. Negative is very fun as well. I do like that. I like Mr. Fantastic. I like using him. Spider-Gwen is quite cool to use. Spider-Ham is quite cool to use. Miles Morales cheesing can be quite fun too. Even Wasp is quite fun. So let me know which are the champions that you find most fun in science class. And I'll be back tomorrow. And tomorrow we're going to talk about the champions that I enjoy the most in skill class. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the